where the threat of AI is becoming larger and larger every day as it learns and grows in unforeseeable and unimaginable ways. It really begs the question, how is this AI revolution going to affect modern and classic gaming? So sit back, grab a drink, and relax, if you can, as me and my best friend Riley unravel the secret of AI. Let's get into it. Skynet is now online.
I know.
Oh, John Connor. Get to the chopper. I know that's the wrong movie entirely, but John Connor.
It had to be done. John Connor. Oh yeah, John Connor. What is that?
Ready to
Terminator?
take you
Is
over.
Connor's? Is Connor's Terminator?
Yep. Have you never watched the Terminator series?
I haven't watched all of them. I've seen like the first two.
He's like the main He's like the main person. He's the kid that sends the robot back in time to save his mom in the first one. But anyways,
okay, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've seen it. But,
today we are talking about the wonderful, wonderful world of artificial intelligence and AI.
Ooh, spooky.
Not really wonderful. I bet you're quaking in your boots. I bet you're shaking.
Dude, I'm shaking.
Shaking.
I'm shaking, man.
Shaking and baking, baby. But essentially, we really want to sit down today and talk about all this craziness that's been going on and kind of set the record straight, kind of get things in line, and really talk about how AI has been affecting gaming and the gaming industry in general.
Is so much, dude. AI has been around for like years and years. It's been like affecting games since like the 70s when stuff first came out, with like Pong and stuff. So
yeah,
it's been around for a long time.
It has been, yes. And I don't think that people really realize that because they see AI as like this new craze that's taken over the internet and the world by storm. And we are gonna get taken over by Terminator and oh gosh, and all this stuff, and Skynet is active and it's
right.
I think that people really get spooked out of proportion because the news and the media like to cover stuff like that, and it's really
right
and stuff that is really not as it seems.
Not as it seems. They always try to make it look more crazy.
To put it in perspective, ChatGPT just fell for a D's nuts joke. So I think that don't have that much to be frightened about. But
like ChatGPT is pretty crazy. Like that's one of the most pretty crazy AI tools I've seen come out in my lifetime. But like there's still like it's not perfect, Like there's still,
there's a lot of flaws with it. All new information that comes out, it's like it's not
still very new.
Yes, it's not reliable for anything relevant with what's going with things that are very modern and current. It cannot keep up. It oftentimes lacks. And I mean,
like you can ask it about like World at War, Call of Duty, because I did that. Like you can ask it stuff like 15 years ago. It'll know that, but like you can't ask it something that happened like yesterday because it's not going to have it yet.
Essentially, what it does is it regurgitates information that's already out on the internet and just puts it in a different spin or a different way to make it original. When it really
pretty much just like rearranging words, not really that much.
Yes, it's essentially just rearranging words and saying it in a different way, and it really is not gonna come knock on your doorstep and take you down super slam style or whatever.
It's a good tool for ideas, but you can't use that for like your essay. You can't use that to make your essay because you're gonna get caught. But it's a good tool for ideas.
I forgot that you.
Don't worry, I've learned from experience.
What, you got caught using AI?
That was a joke. Okay. I never used AI for an essay or anything like that.
But I really wanted to talk about how AI has broken YouTube and gaming in general. It has really just absolutely, like, I've been going on YouTube recently and I keep on seeing like, oh, AI has beaten this game. AI learns to beat Mario. AI learns to beat Sonic. AI learns to beat the impossible quiz. AI has been learning to speedrun Minecraft.
So many of them.
Learning to play Smash Bros. Like there are so many Mortal Kombat. Like there are so many
So
uh,
many.
games that like people have either been using AI as inspiration, where they will ask the game directly, like, "Hey, how do I do this? What if I was to do this step by step and go through the game? How do I play it?" And then play it themselves. But then there's also been cases where they will literally have the AI like, "Okay, go beat the original Mario," and it has learned throughout time and watching and learning throughout so many different things that it can speed run this stuff extremely quickly and
Yeah.
do it proficiently all through a computer and all through the codes that it gets sent. And it's
Which
very,
which is just crazy, but
yeah, it is just crazy to see how AI has learned to beat different games and become almost like a player on its own right. I mean, it's not
yeah.
making independent choice. It's always going to be doing an if then this type scenario where it's always scenario based and things like that. And it's just it's crazy how cool it can be seeing
Yeah,
the
it's
different ways that not only creators and people in general will use AI to help them play video games and ask them
yeah.
questions and basically be like an on-hand tutorial, but also like, all right, if I'm to play the game exactly how intended, how do I do it? But also like AI themselves like playing the game. It's really neat.
Right.
It take
You have to be really smart to do that. You got to like know lots of code and stuff like that. Like it's some pretty advanced stuff.
Yeah, it's some. I mean, depends on how advanced the person themselves decided to get into it, but it always reminds me
Mhm.
of like it takes me back to the Twitch plays days where it'll be like
Which
Twitch
plays?
Twitch Goldfish plays Pokemon Blue or something like that, and it'll
Yeah.
be like a fish, and then because it'll be like tracked on a camera, and then it'll like if it goes into this square, the character will move down. If it goes into this square, it'll push A and do this. Like, and
Okay.
like eventually, the fish would eventually beat the game after so much trial and error. I mean, it might get
There.
soft
Yeah.
locked out and that kind of stuff, but it was always interesting. And it's kind of that same concept, but like obviously, you're not using a fish, you're using a computer. So,
Right.
um, but it is just really cool to see how AI has been used um in video games, and I mean they've been getting used for years and years and years. And I think that
Dude.
kind of brings us into the early days of AI and gaming. I mean, I think that we should dive right into how we got to this place in the beginning to begin with.
I
I
mean,
mean,
like one of the first things I was watching a video, and it'll be linked in the description. But one of the first things that they were talking about that came out with AI use was tic tac toe, which is interesting because like tic tac toe was always played with two people before, but then and I think it was now don't quote me on this. I think it was the 50s. It was either the 50s or like in between the 50s and the 80s when AI was advanced enough to where you could do it as tic tac toe against an AI, like not against another, but you could just play against the computer or something like that.
yeah,
And then that was one of the very first times that AI was like introduced in gaming. I
yeah,
believe it was that and Pong. Those were like one like very early stages of AI in video games.
yeah. So Pong, the tic tac toe, I believe, in my notes, I have one of the first examples of AI computerization games was of the game Nim in
Mm.
1951, published in 1952.
Dang.
Despite being advanced technology, it took in a year. It literally took a year to be made. That was with that advanced technology, the game only took a year to be made, but
Wow.
and it was 20 years before Pong as well.
That right, yeah, because Pong came out in the 70s.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Pong, basically took that concept and then had that AI character that, the AI paddle that you would basically verse against and kind of put that
Hmm.
whole implementation into it. And that was kind of the first like mainstream site of like video game AI that like was in everybody's living rooms. Cause I mean, like,
Right.
not even gonna lie, like
A lot of
here,
people have the Atari.
yes. There's an inbox and Atari in the basement somewhere around here that I've been told about. And it's like that was just such a, yeah, fundamental part of like the 80s and that kind of time, or the
100%.
70s, 80s.
Yeah, 70s, 80s.
Yep,
Yeah.
that very early generation of gaming.
Hmm.
So, but games also, uh, when they started featuring single player modes, enemies became more and more, a part of that. And that's when they really
Hmm.
started going into like, all right, how do we develop AI for these NPCs, these characters, or these assets in game, and how they can interact with the characters and the players themselves. So that was
Right.
really kind of after Pong, it really kind of became mainstream with, all right, how can we really use AI into our video games?
Right. And another early one that I think was also on the Atari, I forgot to mention this one, but Pac-Man. Pac-Man with like the random
Oh,
AI,
yep.
just like the Pac-Man ghosts always were random generated. They always went in random directions, you know? That was one of the very first times that it occurred. And you just, because it was fun because it was always random. You would never know what was going to happen. So it made it,
Yeah.
uh,
They also
can't think of the
started
word, but.
appearing in games such as like racing games like Speed Race for the
Hmm.
Atari, Quack, which was like a light gun shooter, and then even like aircraft dogfighting simulators such as like the game
Yep.
Pursuit for the
Pursuit. Yeah.
Atari. But it was really, it's really neat how things have really kind of progressed throughout the ages, because then that kind of
Yeah.
takes us into like the golden age of video games, where like
Right.
AI opponents, like I had said before, was largely popularized. And also that was mainly due to the success of Space Invaders. That was a huge game
Another
at that time. And like
huge game. Yeah.
with all the aliens coming down and how they had to code and interact with the player and the variety of how they were used. It's really fascinating to see like how it started
Really
off as like,
interesting.
yeah, these basic computer um, programs and how they built to where they are today.
Yeah. Seriously. It is really interesting. Then I guess that kind of leads into like the some of the early shooter games like
Yeah,
Half-Life 2 and Doom 2, where they like
yeah,
Doom 2 had like real time like strategy movements, where it was like the enemy would like you would have to strategize your shooting, or like, stuff like that.
yeah.
So
With modern games, they really implemented the main thing, which was pathfinding, and how
hmm.
enemies and AI would get from one place to another and navigate through the map to basically, achieve the set goal that they had, or their
Right.
objective, or how they react in certain scenarios. Because that, like, and that really became a big thing in like real time strategy games as well, along with like shooters and,
Hmm.
FPSs and different things like that. But that also leads into like how that kind of evolved to like grid based pathfinding, where they would like actually have like an in-game terrain mapped onto like the like basically how the computers themselves would see the world around them is like as like grids. And they're like, okay, well, if I go to this grid, then that grid, then that grid. And that
Right.
basically, that was kind of the new way where they would set up like waypoints to navigate with the NPCs. And like
Gotcha.
that way it would try to not have so much unnatural looking movement,
Hmm.
as opposed to the earlier generation games. Because like in games like Halo Combat Evolved, the player pretty much would in Halo Evolved, the player would essentially interact with the other NPCs, and the NPCs with that game, they essentially had like a behavior tree where, like, if they had different things, if they got a grenade tossed at them, then they would be like, okay, I'm going to toss the grenade back. If their squad leader got killed, then they would learn to retreat. If they
Yep.
went ahead and if they're getting shot at, they're gonna try to figure out where that's coming from and then fire accordingly. It isn't just like, okay, I know where you're at, instantly aim bot death type thing.
Exactly, dude. And I was gonna talk about them too. They were like one of the first games that, like you were saying, like when they would strategize what to do. They would hide behind. They would actually use cover. They wouldn't just be out in the open, stuff like that. I was gonna mention the grenade thing. It was like one of the first games where they would like throw grenades at you. Like
Yep.
it was really
It,
crazy at the time, which is crazy. Like, I didn't know that was the first game to do that when I read about that, which is cool.
yeah, I didn't realize that at the time too, because it's really neat how you see different like shooters, and you kind of like you know that they're iconic for different
Yeah.
reasons, and you played them, and you've gone back and played them like Doom and different things like that, and Master Chief and Halo, and
Yeah.
it's like then it's really neat to see like the technical side and like okay, this is probably partially the responsible for what made these games so enjoyable to begin with is
Exactly.
all these
Yeah. There's
advancements in
no other game like that
technology.
at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's just I feel like it like Halo especially really helped boost first person shooters and really took off that genre because like Halo I believe predates Call of Duty,
I'm pretty
and
sure
like
it does.
it like I mean like even though Call of Duty has surpassed it and taken over and you've had games like Battlefield and you have games like CS:GO and whatnot, it's like
I do remember though when it was Halo versus Call of Duty, and people were always like it was always Halo or Call of Duty at the time, and then it kind of changed to Battlefield versus Call of Duty. Halo
yep.
kind of got knocked out of there.
But it's
But
really
yeah,
neat to and like with those games like the AI like not gonna lie, in the earlier games, it was pretty rough. You would like have AI like
yeah.
running into walls, just sitting there.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah, in Call of Duty 2, there's one where the AI just like came right out of the floor. Like it was just like it
There's
would do
some,
whatever it wants at the
yeah,
time.
there's some definitely some like really bad AI moments, especially in the past, because like they didn't entirely, there everybody was still learning, and they were still
Yeah, it
kind of
wasn't
like,
fully
and
patched yet.
even like nowadays there are still moments where it's like with particular games where it's like, is the AI okay?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Like it took on a little longer, maybe. Like
I
what's going on
kind
here?
of feel that way a little bit with GTA 5 going back and playing that now because like there are times where like the AI like genuinely like especially the cops. The cops are the ones that get
The
me with like
cops
the AI.
are
It is
horrible.
so bad. Like you
Oh
could just
my
be
god.
existing and then they'll start putting
It's like,
stars on you.
let me see your hands. Oh shit. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. And then they just fire at you. It's like, bro, you
Yep.
can't even surrender anything. It's
Yep.
ridiculous.
And it's like you didn't even do anything and they'll come after you. It's like you could just be
Yeah.
driving around. But
You
it's
always have an AP. They always have an APB on you for some reason. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
it always. But it's really cool because like not only like I said before with like FPSs, but like games like dynamic strategy games with like it kind of made it so like these games that involve like having large numbers of units like and like massive armies and towns and cities like with the advancements in AI and technology like it really could handle you could learn like these games learn to handle these larger number of AI as they like
Mm-hmm.
continued throughout the years because in the beginning like it really struggled with having large numbers of characters on screen and
Yeah.
like there was definitely a cap but then like if you go and play Civilization nowadays like oh my gosh you can fit so many characters on screen or different like war games that like simulate war like I always like see like these mock renditions of like Star Wars battles where it has like hundreds of
Really.
thousands of characters on screen and stuff like
Wow.
that and then they go and
I've
like
never played that game before.
it's not like it's all like it's a mod of some sort that's through like one of these war simulator games but it's like where like you'd have like armies of like thousands of people
Mm-hmm.
going and duking it out at once and like because of the advancements in AI that kind of technology has become available to be able to play and I've always enjoyed war. I'm a huge Command and Conquer fan,
Yeah.
Command and Conquer 3 fans out there. But um
Drop something in the comments.
I'll get like 0 people. But it's really neat how it has evolved through that genre as well.
Yeah. And this is kind of predating Civilization, but Sims, I felt like Sims should have been mentioned at
Oh
some point
yeah.
because Sims was like one of the very first games to like actually have like you could like you didn't have to control it like you could just like watch it. It was kind of like a movie or TV. You could just like watch your life simulate in front of your
You were
eyes if you
playing
wanted to.
God Simulator with the Sims.
Yeah, yeah, playing God Simulator or some
I
shit. Yeah,
totally
yeah.
forgot about the Sims. I don't know how that slipped my mind, but yeah, that's totally a great point. How they
Yeah,
how that totally also revolutionized AI, and that's just
yeah.
really neat how AI has just evolved. And
It has evolved so much, and in
with
such a short time too.
because like I mean in the beginning like AI's reactions were very like black and white, and it's like really evolved. Like in some games they have like the ability to hunt like objectives and like the ability to like do so much more than what they were originally able to do before, that
Yeah.
it's insane. Like they'll have like even like survival instincts where they can like recognize different objects in their
Yep.
environment and like determine like whether it's beneficial or not. For
Or
like
not. Yep.
is it cover that can give me cover behind the player that's shooting me? Is it a grenade I can toss at them? Or there's so much, like even like the side effect of AI combat occurs when you have uh, I guess, yeah, I mean, there's so much great that stuff that has come out of AI, but unfortunately, it always has its limitations. But
Hmm.
it can also like really come up to like then you have in like Doomy different like games like Doom where you can have like the monsters fighting each other,
Yep.
and like that's just
Which
so
that's really cool.
so it's not only them fighting against the character and doing different things like that, but they're fighting against each other.
That
And
had to be one of the first games to do that, right?
yeah, I believe so, but it's
Yeah.
really neat to be able to see different things like that. But that kind of that brings me to I guess our next main point about AI, because it's not always great with the new stuff because unfortunately AI likes to cheat,
Hmm.
and it likes to cheat
That is,
pretty
they do
often.
like to cheat. Yeah, yeah. They don't like taking the long run, that's for sure.
Nope. And it has been accounted for time and time again throughout single player games that AI will get an unfair advantage of some sort, whether that's unfair cars that have, horsepower that's more than what you can put on it for like Need for Speed, whether that's like in that same genre of games, them like rubber banding past you, spawning in front of you. Like
Yeah.
there's so many like ways that AI can screw over the player character in like racing games alone, but it there's so many ways that AI has been caught cheating in the act, caught
Yeah.
red-handed,
Caught red-handed.
4K
Yeah. We.
HD. But it's
Oh
really
my
neat
god.
to see how it's funny to see how developers have kind of fudged up different games to kind of allow the AI an unfair advantage because they are compensating for different losses in the
Compensating for something.
they're compensating for the loss of certain actions with the AI itself that they're incapable of doing. So they're like, well, if I can't have it do that, then I might as well give it an unfair advantage to make it a challenge for the player, so the player isn't just walking all over it. But
Right.
at the
But you
same,
need a balance. Sometimes you need a balance, like not too hard, but not too easy at the same time, you know?
yeah, definitely. And I really feel like with and like it's just crazy how sometimes like they will jack up like the intelligence of like AI characters and different things like that to make them like stupidly smart if you're playing like in like a wartime strategy game or something like that, where they'll just like the AI was just like, oh, I'll be dumb one match and I'll be like God's gift to the earth the next match when it comes to stinking taking out enemy forces. And it's just, and then in like FPS games, you'll have like it where they can see right through smoke screens. They basically have a
Hmm.
lock on you no matter where you
No
go.
matter what.
Yep. It doesn't matter if you're, ran 5 rooms away and are hiding an event, they somehow can magically lock you down and then find exactly where you are and start taking pot shots at your noggin. And it's
It's
like,
like the
bro,
most annoying
really?
thing.
It's so dumb.
For real.
But AI has definitely been caught red-handed cheating a couple of times. Do you have any examples of AI getting caught
Let me. I guess I didn't really have anything in my notes, but AI getting caught in like
having like
I guess
unfair advantage or anything like that in games?
um
Because I can remember in some of the Pokemon games, it's like they would have game like Pokemon that you literally could not uh, obtain normally within the game, but like somehow these trainers have like a under leveled Pokemon that wouldn't evolve at a certain level, but like I think like the main one I can think of is like a Gyarados that was like level 16 or something like that. Normally Gyarados evolves at like 22, and
Oh
like
wow.
it was there's just some weird phenomenons that have happened in some different games where it's just like it doesn't make it very fair for the players themselves.
Right. Yeah. Dang. I wish I had a little bit of information on that.
But um
Well, I guess I got something about like kind of if you don't mind like games like nowadays kind of
yeah,
AI
go
like
for it.
more like present day. All
Yep.
right, yeah. So like there's AI has definitely gotten even more advanced like within the last 10 years. Like there's games like a game called Shadow of War where I don't know if this was like one of the first games to do it, but a lot of recent games like when you have to like revisit a villain you've already attacked, they remember who you are. They actually have a memory that they're like, hey, it's you from earlier who tried to kill me, like stuff like that,
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty cool.
No, definitely. I think that it's really neat as well. I think that it's really cool how, especially with different games, how when you choose different paths, it'll open up different opportunities and how the
Mm-hmm.
NPCs will react accordingly. That's one of the best
Yeah,
things that you can tell if a game actually took its time is when NPCs will, react to
react
the
differently.
environment, react to how you, did certain things, how you went about certain
Exactly.
things, and like even going beyond that there are
Yeah.
certain games where it'll like straight up will call you out for previous playthroughs if you were murdering, son of a gun, like in Undertale and different things like that. Flowey
Really.
will like straight up be like, "Oh, so you murdered everyone last time. Why are you being good this time?" or something like that, and it like will literally call you out on your BS for being for just being, a player and going through,
Right.
killing whoever you want and treating it like a game, which it is.
Which
So,
which that's really cool when they do stuff like that because that
yeah,
shows that they like actually kind of got to care about the project they made.
I've definitely seen it in horror games a few times too, where they'll have like, oh, we're gonna turn on your camera and then have like outside applications open and then have like text boxes appear and different
Up
things
here,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
where it's like to try to throw you off and make it think like, oh no, my computer got taken over, or, this thing's right here actually, and oh my gosh, and spooky
Right.
this, spooky that. So
Spooky this, spooky that. Yeah.
it's really cool to see how games have gotten really inventive with AI and character pathfinding and NPCs. And my first real encounter that I can think of with NPCs that like it really stuck with me that like, oh, this is a computer, this isn't a real person, was like when I used to play N64 Smash Bros. And how
Smash
you
Bros.
would go on ahead and like you'd have your NPC or your computer CPU. Then they, like if you wanted to play a match by yourself but you wanted to play with four other people, you'd have you'd pick four CPUs, spawn them into the match, pick whatever characters you wanted to be, and then you'd set like a level of high, like one being the lowest, three was like the still easy, five was like average, and then 10 obviously was insane. But like it was
Insane, yeah.
really cool to like, and that was like kind of like the first time that really sunk in with me was like, okay, they're a lot dumber when they're on the lower difficulty. It's not like they're like, and it was really neat to see how when you turned it up and like in the originally if they're a low number, like they will pick up items and then will hold them too long so it blows up in their hand if it's a bomb or something like that, or like will
Oh, okay.
purposely sabotage themselves, or will just walk around the map and jump and will occasionally attack you but won't really do that much. Then it's like you set it to like five and it's like then it's like they're a much more competent person. They can use items normally, they can,
Right.
they attack, they have like somewhat decent combos, they can chain together, they know how to react to your things and whatnot, but they're still not great, they're not that fast, they don't use certain more advanced techniques like shields and blocking and rolling and grappling and different things like that. But then when it comes to like that level 9 or 10 that you're versing against, like it's like balls to the walls, baby. Like it's crazy. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Was this in Smash? Was this in Smash Brawl Wii? Was this on Wii or was this
nope,
on an
this
older
was
one?
N64. So this
Oh
was back
wow.
in the late 90s, early 2000s when this was, and that's what really fascinated me so much about it
And that's
too, is like,
old.
and like when it got cranked up to like 9 or 10, like they could, dodge your attacks really well. Could, it's almost like they could see it incoming, and it's like, um, they are very like quick. All their actions are very fast, very snappy, very planned. Like all their jumps, they know how to recover very well. They can grapple you, they throw you, but like they catch you off guard. And like I remember sitting there like when I eventually got Smash Bros. Brawl for Wii and doing like the same thing where it'd be like I would sit there and like grind against like the really difficult AI because like no
Right.
offense, but I mean, I couldn't really find that much of a challenge around me because I mean, I didn't have a huge friend base that played Smash Brothers Brawl. I know that Ultimate has been a huge craze and everybody likes playing
Hmm.
Ultimate, but
Yeah.
at that time I didn't have like a ton of friends to play with, so I just play with the NPCs, and like the NPCs were like
Right.
they were good, man. But at the same time,
Yeah.
it's like because of that, it also taught you like, okay, I gotta learn this, how to do this, how to do that. Like these things I originally wasn't doing with playing the game, and I think that that whole way that it was formatted really made me think. And then the way that they have their training mode in Smash Bros set up, how you can like, all right, I want the NPC to just walk, I want it to be able to run, I want it to be able to jump, if
You can control. You
attack,
can choose to do that.
dodge. Yeah, in the training mode. So it was
Oh, in the
really
training.
in depth with like what you were able to like control, and like that kind of like that was like kind of my first like, oh, so this is what really goes on behind the scenes with NPCs, which obviously that's barely scratching the surface with what really goes on. But like, it
Right.
was basically it was eye opening to like, oh, so there's computers in here that know a lot, know more than me in some circumstances of the game and different things like that.
Right.
But and they can react because they have like a database of so many different reactions to different things and whatnot. And but
Yeah.
the more possibilities, the more advanced the AI is, and then it can account for that accordingly. But
Hmm.
it's really neat to see how like it was set up to begin with, and that was just really eye
Right.
opening to me, and how AI was really just there, and how it's advanced so much, and how it like actually operated and worked, and like, and then
Right.
it harks back to the whole thing of like, oh, AI is so scary and everything like that, but at the same time, it's like we have full control over it. We can shut it
Right.
down at any time. Like it isn't the end of the world, especially
Not taking over the world. Yeah.
like look at NPCs. I mean, like it's just
You still
gosh.
see them in games nowadays.
Oh yeah, you
Like,
still see them in games nowadays where, like you said, they mess up a lot.
yeah. Just like run into the wall or some weird shit like that.
Yep.
Sometimes they fix it. Like sometimes like games just come out and it's just like, and then they like end up fixing the bugs and stuff. But like, like it still happens nowadays too.
Yep. And that, truth be told, I really don't think that. I mean, AI is going to get better. It's going to get more advanced and
Always
everything
gonna
like
get better.
that,
Yeah.
as any technology does. But
Yeah.
it,
It's gonna get better faster
yes,
because just as time goes on.
use AI to create more AI.
Yeah. Oh no.
AI inception. But I just think that really it boils down to not a whole lot. I mean, it's really just ones and zeros at the end of the day. It's a computer program and people
Yeah.
are acting
The
like
binary
this and
code.
that. I mean, it's fascinating to see where it's come from, and it's fascinating to see where it'll go. But I really hope that people stop getting all freaked out about AI is going to take over and oh my gosh, and this and that, 'cause it's really
That
not.
kind of reminds me of the 2012 thing when like people thought like the end of the world was gonna happen in December 31st, and then we
Hmm.
were all good guys. It's been over 10 years now. We're chilling. Like, come on, guys. Let's
I
give it
mean,
some time.
before our time, but Y2K, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
a Y2K. Like, dude, it happens like every like ah, Y2K, the 2000s. It's gonna end the world. I don't know.
It's so stupid, and like people freak out and media coverage freaks out, and I love like how
Yeah,
people make like fake
the media
AI
makes it worse.
videos of like, oh hey, this AI said that it wants to kill humanity and all this stuff, and then it's like, well, you gave it all the prompts to have it say that. Like,
Yeah,
like,
it's right.
it didn't do it on its own. It's because you told it to do it. Like,
Right.
it's so
Like, come
stupid
on.
sometimes. And then
Trying
don't
to
get
play it
me
off. Yeah,
wrong, stuff like deep fakes and that
that's
can
really
be a
fucking
bit
cool.
concerning in some scenarios. It can be awesome in other scenarios. It'd be so cool. Like, dude, I can become freaking Darth Vader for a stupid scene for this video and make a good
Yeah,
joke out of it. Like, that's great. But then you see, like, oh, well, somebody made deep fake and said that I was going to go, spend my life savings in Hawaii or whatever else. I mean, there are a bazillion lot worse things that I just don't want to say because we're on a
you
YouTube
don't want to.
channel. So,
Yeah, exactly.
um,
But yes, people have used it for some shady stuff.
yes, but at the same time, it's like, it's if you have half a brain cell and think, this doesn't look right, because a lot of the time, deepfakes don't look right. They don't
Yeah,
look right at all.
they don't
They
look
look,
100% correct. No,
no.
you can notice it.
And it's like it's the same technology that gets used to take actors and then put them into video games themselves and like graft them. Like I always think of Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, how they have like
They
these
deep fake this way.
actors, they go and they do all this stuff,
That's
they
like
have to deep fake
a whole
their
nother video. That's like a whole nother video. But I was gonna say, for me, deep faking like L.A. Noir. That was like one of the very first times like they ever like deep faked. And you like that was one of the first time they used deep faked in a video game. I'm pretty sure.
was it
Like I'm not sure if it was one of the first times, but it was early on in
definitely one of
the
the first
stages
times
of
Rock
them.
started.
Yeah,
So
maybe it was just for the first time. One of the first time rock stars did. But yeah, that's the one that always sticks out to me.
but it's really interesting how they're able to graph people's faces and stuff like that and then deep fake
Yeah,
that and then use it for animation in video games and movies and different things like that. Like this
it's really
technology's
cool.
been around for a while. It's just becoming more widestream to the public, which
Yeah.
makes it more widestream to people who don't want to use it for good things. But at the same
Hmm.
time, that also means that we have technologies that can detect and say, hey, this isn't right. This is a deep fake. Like even YouTube nowadays, like will call you out if you're using AI voice, if you're using AI, deep fake stuff, and it'll straight up say
Right.
like in the beginning of the video, like, hey, this is that. Like, don't think it's real. Like, and so I really think that people just chillax, bro. Like,
Just chillax,
just
dog.
relax, dog. It's not the end of the world. But
The end of the world. Everybody.
but it's really it's neat to see where this technology will go and how it can be used in not only video games but our work life and our
Yeah.
workflow. And I mean, people are worried about it replacing people's jobs and stuff like that, but at the same time, it really isn't a job replacement. It's more like a tool that you use to enhance yourself, to make yourself
And
better and more
let's
efficient
keep
on
it
the
way back,
job.
guys.
And that's the way it
Exactly.
should be. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think that it's like the same thing as like would it's kind of like an exosuit, but instead it's like a technological informational exosuit of like a database that's at your fingertips whenever you need it. So,
Right.
we've
Nice
already had
analogy.
access to before, which is a phone. It's basically just a different way of using a search engine, is essentially just AI
Yeah.
and the way that a lot of people use it for work and different things like that. So, but
Yeah. That's just recently like where it's starting to come into people's jobs and like start yeah, work life, stuff like that. It used to just be like a video game thing pretty much and like movies and stuff. But
yeah, movies and video
it's cool how it's
games.
gotten into like other
But
fields.
well, it also had been in like it's been in a lot of facets of our life that we didn't fully
That's
realize.
true. That we didn't realize. Yeah.
Um, and I guess that kind of
Like appliances. Yeah.
yeah, appliances, different things like that. And I really just,
Yeah.
you know, is this a new dark age for gaming? Is this a new dark age for the future? No, probably not. But
Nope.
though the world may be getting scarier with change and it's it's
Could
always
just
going to
be
get
us getting
scarier,
older.
and it may just be us getting older, but it's always important for us to be able to go back and see like where we came from, and then kind of determine like, all right, what are actually the possibilities and the facts of the situation, and how it can help with the future, like possibilities and potential of the gaming industry as a whole. And
Mhm.
I know that I am so excited to see that, and I know that you're super excited to see that too.
I'm so
So
interested to see where it goes, man, because like you can never just imagine these things. Like no one could have ever imagined there was gonna be an iPhone in 2007. You just got to see what happens. Like
yeah.
I mean, I'm just interested to see what's gonna happen. And last game I want to mention because I forgot to mention it. It's literally in almost like you play as the AI in the game. Detroit Become Human. Like that was one of the
Oh my
like
gosh, dude,
you're literally an
great
AI in
pick.
the game. You're
Yeah.
literally AI in the game. So I thought that was a pick we should definitely talk about because like that was one of the first games like where you actually play as an AI and Mr. Krabs is in that game, dude. Like it's a clutch, dude. It's a great game.
Mr.
Everyone should go play that.
Krabs.
Yeah, the voice actor of Mr. Krabs. He
Oh,
plays the
gotcha,
I
gotcha,
forget his
gotcha,
name, but he's one of the actors in there. Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, I definitely need to pick up that
Oh,
game and
did you
play it
did you
sometime.
think I meant like Mr. Krabs was in there?
For a second, I did. Yeah, I was like, where did I miss Mr. Krabs? And I thought he would have been in the trailers or something like that. But
Right, right. Yeah, promote him, dude.
speaking of promoting, make sure to check out last week's podcast where we will go
Gonna be
over
somewhere.
PC and console gaming. And
Yes.
honestly, I think you guys will really enjoy it. And I think we will end this one here. Thank you guys for joining us today as we answered that question. What is AI going to bring to the future of gaming? We'll catch you guys in the next one. And the full
Hope you guys
podcast
enjoyed it.
will be over in the side. Last week's video will be out by my head. See you guys in the next one. Bye.
Thank you guys for watching.